Hi friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you are new here, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. And don't forget to leave a like or a comment down below because it really does help my channel. This week's What's for Dinner is a little bit short in the homemade meal area, but I will still show you anything that I got a picture of that we ate. And I will still have, some homemade meals for you to show in this, but it's just been a stressful week, so I ate out. There was a night I was just eating dinner by myself, so I threw something easy together. But anyways, let's just get started. I started off my Sunday with some Pollo Loco for dinner. Again, try not to cook on Sundays at all, so that I have no dishes on Sunday and it's just for me. But I've been loving Pollo Loco recently, and I normally get a chicken avocado burrito, but this time I got it in the bowl form. I really do feel you get more food, and then I just got like a tortilla on the side, and then my boyfriend got a chicken, like the tostada bowl. And that looks delicious as well. I've never got it with like the tostada shell, but it's like pretty much the same thing. You just get it like that instead with the shell. But does anyone else love El Pollo Loco? Like, I just love like chicken. I love a good bowl, but then you add like the freshness of the pico. I could totally make this at home. It's just the convenience thing, and it does taste really good, like the fire roasted chicken. I'm starting off by taking an oven-safe skillet and I'm adding a couple tablespoons of butter. Later you will see me add an additional, but it is not part of the recipe. So I let that melt a little. I added in a half of an onion that's been thinly sliced, and I'm just stirring that to get coated in the butter. And I'm just going to let that cook until the onions start to brown and soften a bit. And then I'm switching things up from the recipe that I'll have linked. So they add cream at this point and you cook it down a bit. But I decided to add my zucchini squash in. This is 2 zucchinis sliced pretty thinly, like an 1/8 to 1/4 inch thickness is preferable. And in the recipe they did 1 zucchini, 1 like yellow squash, but I just had zucchini, so I just did it with 2 zucchini. And I add them in to soften them up a bit because I was worried that they weren't going to be like soft enough for my liking. And then I'm adding in half a cup of heavy cream. I'll let that simmer a little bit so it can start to thicken up. And I added some garlic in. This is squeezed garlic. I'd say about a couple cloves worth. I stir that around so the flavors could meld together, or like the garlic could get on that zucchini. And then I add a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. This was actually cheese from a bag at first. I blended it up to make it more powdery, but you know how like cheese in the bag is like coated, so I figured that's actually going to help me with making sure that that cream will thicken up, because that powder is like a thickening agent, like you would think of like cornstarch. So I figured that'll help. And then it doesn't call for any seasoning, but I put a little bit of the blend, which is basically like salt, pepper, garlic powder. And then they have you put like smoked Gouda on top, a cup. I didn't have that, so I did Havarti cheese. I had some sliced Havarti cheese. I just cut it up, as you can see, like to some little thick shreds there. And I didn't have a full cup's worth, so I also added some mozzarella on top. And the whole purpose of this being an oven-safe pan is that we are baking this in the oven at 450 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until it's golden on the top. And if you don't have an oven-safe pan, of course, you could just do this in your normal skillet and then transfer it to a baking dish or whatever you use to put your food into the oven. I had just got a rotisserie chicken from the store to make my life a little bit easier on this night for the protein wise, and it was delicious. I love rotisserie chicken and I don't have it as often as I would like, but I also made that orzo I made maybe like 2 weeks ago with the basil and corn. It was so delicious. I wanted it again, so I had to make some because I had some corn I needed to use up. So I will leave a link in the description box down below to that video that had that recipe in it. But this was so delicious. This whole meal was so good. I love that orzo in general, but this was my first time having the zucchini gratin, and oh man, it was delicious. Definitely recommend. Do not skip out on those onions. They're delicious with the whole thing. This was way better than I thought it was going to be. I love zucchini, but holy moly, it was good, cheesy and amazing. And the cheese got like really crispy on the edges. It was just so delicious. I loved it a lot. And I wanted to note that the zucchini in this was soft, so if you like your zucchini with a little bit firmer of a bite to it, you could probably definitely just follow the recipe the way it was. Remember, I did saute my zucchini for a couple minutes, which the recipe didn't call for, but I thought it would be a little too firm for my liking. I think I could get away with just following it how it was. It would still be soft enough, but this way was pretty soft. I enjoyed that, but just be mindful if that's not something you like. Another easy weeknight meal was these meatball subs. I like to make them like garlic bread style, but I did use the farm rich meatballs and just some Classico sauce that I had on hand to use up, and I put them just in a skillet to warm. That way you could air fry them. Whatever method you like, you can bake your meatballs. Just do it however you like and use whatever products you like, but I just wanted to show you those in case you are interested in knowing what I did use on this. But I made my French bread with some garlic butter. I baked that for a few minutes, or broiled it for just like a minute or something like that to make it like toasty like garlic bread. Then I add on either provolone or mozzarella, and I let that melt for another minute, and then I add on my meatballs and sauce. And then I actually like to put a little bit of mayonnaise on my meatball subs, but I didn't have that pictured here, and I serve this with a just side Caesar salad. I always love going back to a simple meal like this. Just makes my night so much easier, and it's definitely still delicious. I figured another great way to use up the rest of the rotisserie chicken is to make some flatbread. So I have these garlic naan breads. I love to use naan breads for pizzas, and then just whatever toppings you like. I'm using up some things I already had, but it all sounded really good together, and I will link a similar recipe to what I'm basically doing here. And so I'm just taking the naan, I put them on my pizza pan just so they can cook up easily, and I spread 3 tablespoons or so of the sauce on the tops of each of my naan bread. I took some squeezed garlic, put it on the top, and I'm just using my spoon to mix it right there, right on top of the naan bread. I like more garlic than the boyfriend likes, so I had to have extra on mine. And then I'm taking a sprinkling of mozzarella cheese. That's up to you on your preference. Different cheeses can be great on this. But yeah, I'm just taking a small sprinkling first. I am going to add more later, like another layer. And then just take pieces of the chicken. Of course, like I said, using leftover rotisserie chicken. Great for stuff like this, because even like you could freeze it up and put it in the microwave. It will defrost so fast, and you can throw together this meal in under 15 minutes or so because it bakes pretty quickly. But yeah, just put whatever amount of chicken you like or any other toppings, proteins. I'm doing some spinach. I had some little bits on its last 9 days. I chopped it up, put it on top, and then I'm putting a little sprinkling of cheese over that. That's going to protect the spinach a little bit, help it adhere like onto the naan pizza and not dry out too much. Then I'm taking a sprinkle of oregano, and I'm baking this in the oven at 375 degrees for just 6 to 8 minutes. I just kind of watch that. That's going to depend on your oven. I had got some of the honey barbecue boneless wings from Vaughn's, just like the cold section of the grocery store. They are so good. We really love them a lot. So I had a part of my naan bread because I really wanted some of those wings, and then I just had like cucumbers and ranch on the side, and these naan breads were delicious. I loved the addition of the garlic. I even would like to maybe saute some onions and put it on there. I don't know, but I really loved this combination a lot. We went out this day and had sandwiches by Connal's. This is actually one of my favorite sandwiches ever. I love their combo grinder. They do a lot of other items as well, sandwiches, burgers, all that, but this combination grinder is absolutely my favorite. It never disappoints. Got some of their fries. Didn't get the banana shake this time, but that is what I typically get. It is a favorite of mine as well. If you're ever in the Pasadena, California area, definitely recommend this place a lot. I'm starting this off with a large bowl so we can mix it all together. To it, I've added 4 cups of shredded chicken. I just do chicken breast in the Instant Pot, and then I shred it up. And then to that, I'm adding 1 cup of barbecue sauce as well as 1 cup of rinsed and drained black beans, and then you'll need a cup of corn. I used this corn that had the red and green bell peppers in it because the recipe does call for adding, I believe it was half of a green bell pepper diced up. I didn't have that, so I figured this will still add some of those flavors, so that's great. It was a small can, so I'm sure it is still close to the cup that you needed for that. And then I just mixed that all together. So when I did add the barbecue sauce originally, I added 3/4 of a cup because sometimes barbecue sauce can be too much for me. I'm not the biggest always on food that is sweet. I like savory more, but when I mix it together, I knew it needed the full cup's worth. So I did add that in, mix it all together, place it in the bottom of a 9x13 baking dish, spread it all out, and then I'm just topping it with about a cup or so of sharp cheddar cheese that's been grated. I like to grate it myself, and I did probably use a little more than a cup because I love cheese and I just want to make sure the top had a good amount, so I just eye that. Okay, so I'm going to make a note here and say that the recipe says to bake this at 375 for 25 minutes covered. I didn't cover it, and I also only baked it for like 15 to 20 minutes. Honestly, my chicken wasn't cold, like ice cold, so everything's really just slightly warming up. The cheese is getting bubbly and melty. I just kind of watched it, and whenever it was nice and bubbly, I just pulled it out. I didn't really need it to be in there any longer than it had to be, and mine was nice and warm, but then again, I didn't cover it like I said, so I didn't really feel the need to. My cheese melted. It was a short time. It was perfectly fine, and then I pulled it out of the oven, and I did top it with the fried onions, and it called for, I believe, a half a cup of that. Next time I will definitely increase that because I loved that part of it, and I want more of it, so I'm gonna either increase it maybe another 1/4 cup's worth on top of there, and you do place that back in the oven for an additional 10 minutes until those onions get nice and golden and crisp up a bit. I served this over white rice, so I had that going while this was doing its thing in the oven, so that it'd be ready at the same time. I definitely liked it over the white rice a lot, and in fact I expected to decently like this meal. Like I said, I'm more of a savory food versus sweet food person, but I really liked this a lot, and I definitely love the crunchiness of the fried onions. That probably helped for me texture wise as well. I'm definitely going to be saving this because if you had frozen chicken already like shredded and ready to go, like either in your freezer, you could defrost that super fast, like with the defrost function, or you pulled it out and you knew you could grab a rotisserie chicken that's already shredded at the store. This is definitely like 30-minute meal to throw all this stuff together, like mix it all together and just pop it in the oven, and it's very filling and super delicious, and we really thought it was very yummy. And I served this with some zucchini that I just air fried with some of the blend and avocado oil. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I hope you all are having a great day.